gorgeous out there, isn't it? How's it going, y'all? I'm just heading home right now. I had a great time in Florida. I picked up this Jameis Winston jersey, but while I was out, I spent a little bit too much money, so we're looking to recoup some of those funds here. Week 13, I have 11 plays. I'm putting one unit on each play. We want to hit over half of these. At minus 105, the New York Jets to score under 19.5 points to turn $1 into 195. I told you guys on Wednesday, jump on this team total before Vegas wants to bump it down to 18.5. I go to look at it today, it's at 18.5, but I still don't think it's too late. I still think this is an under that I would still take at minus 105. At minus 145, Matt Ryan to throw over 0.5 interceptions to turn $1 into 169. In each of Matt Ryan's last 4 games against the Saints, he's thrown a minimum of 1 interception. Some of those games 2, so I definitely think he's good for one this week. Also, at minus 150, Kyler Murray to throw over 0.5 interceptions. That'll turn $1 into 167. This might just be some divisional cricket night right here. I think Kyler Murray's thrown more interceptions than he has touchdowns against the Rams, and at least 1 pick in each of his games against LA. So that's definitely a play that I'm liking this week. At minus 120, Robert Woods over 64.5 receiving yards to turn $1 into 183. Now, in Robert Woods' last 4 games against Arizona, he's got over 65 receiving yards, and that includes a couple of 100-yard games too. So I definitely think that's possible for him this week. At minus 135, Cooper Kupp to catch over 5.5 receptions, and that'll turn $1 into 174. Cooper Kupp is just another player that has some favorable history against Arizona. He has at least 6 receptions in each of his last 3 games against Arizona, and we're just seeing the way that slot receivers are getting targeted against the Cardinals, the way Tyler Lockett would get a bunch of love. So I definitely think Cooper Kupp is in to catch a lot of balls this week right there at minus 135. At minus 115, Aaron Rodgers over 281.5 pass yards to turn $1 into 187. I was saying the other day, if your line opened up at 286, I would still take the over, because I think in each of Aaron Rodgers' games against the Eagles, he's thrown at least 300 yards, and I definitely see that being possible again this week. At minus 105, Allen Robinson over 5.5 receptions to turn $1 into 195. Now, if you look at an Allen Robinson game log and just look at his targets, it's pretty clear which game Nick Foles starts and which games Mitch Trubisky starts. Mitch Trubisky loves targeting Allen Robinson. We're going to see double-digit targets for him this week, and I definitely like him to catch at least 6 balls, turn $1 into 195. At minus 120, Allen Robinson over 70.5 receiving yards to turn $1 into 183. I just see this being a big game for Allen Robinson against Detroit. He's definitely had a few games, more than 1 game, more than 2 games where he's gotten over 70.5 receiving yards against them. And who's going to be throwing that ball to him? Mitch Trubisky. At minus 105, Mitch Trubisky over 1.5 pass touchdowns to turn $1 into 195. In each of his last 4 games against Detroit, Trubisky has thrown 3 touchdowns in each of those games. I don't know what it is. I don't know why he likes to play the Lions so much, but let's just say he has an off game. Let's say he breaks the trend and only throws for 2 touchdowns. We still cash right there. So that's just a stat I had to point out there. I'm definitely liking that right there. And at minus 175, the Bears money line to turn $1 into 157. You know, just I don't see a lot of value with that, but it's definitely a play that I like. You know, something the Detroit Lions, they're going through like a rebuild phase with their coaching and everything like that. And while it's a huge step for them to get rid of Matt Patricia, you know, it's not everything that they needed. So I think that they still got a few more steps before they rebuild and can overcome this Bears matchup right here. So I like the Bears money line this week. And my 11th and last play at plus 1,000, because what would a video be without a play like this? Nyhiem Hines scores 2 or more touchdowns. Now they're going to be playing the Houston Texans. What is something that Detroit, Tennessee, and Jacksonville all have in common? Each of these cities have hosted the Indianapolis Colts this year, and each of these teams have allowed Nyhiem Hines to score 2 touchdowns against them. And so this week we have the Texans hosting the Colts. The Texans are one of the worst run defenses in the league. And I know there's a lot of questions out there about which running back do we trust with this Colts backfield? They've openly admitted it's a committee back there, but when you're looking at these away games right here, especially with a favorable matchup, Nyhiem Hines, he's good for, I think, at least one touchdown, but to turn $1 into 11, I think he's good for 2 right there. And if the first 10 plays don't work out and all you get is this last one, you'll still break even. So those are my 11 plays right there. And this is actually my house right up here at the end of the street, so it's time for me to get out of this gap. Thanks for watching, y'all. Peace out.